Okay, so we've got a match with Oxford Brookes University. I don't know if we've played them before, but we start in 3 minutes. We've got James on board 1, Mike on board 2, I'm playing board 3. Our Chase on board 4, Kevin on board 5. It looks like everyone is getting in a play. Okay. Kevin's rating is 383. It's going to be funny. Looks like we are underway, and it's a D4 line. Okay, we get a point automatically on Kevin's game because his opponent didn't pitch. So he gains rating. Okay, so let's really get to our play. Okay, so let's make it exciting. We'll play the Albin counter gambit against our British 4. Too early to think. Yeah, this is kind of like a safe go-to position for most players when they don't know how to deal with an opening. So here already Black doesn't have problems in this setup. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, I'll keep it simple. If you exchange queens, I exchange. The thing is with Black, I really don't mind quickly equalizing. But even here, the fact that I've got a knight much better placed than him is already a point for concern for him in this position. So let's say, how do I want to play this? Okay, so I could maybe go here. I could go on B4, I could go on D6. Where do I want to go? Okay, let's go on B4. e4. So I'm threatening knight c2 check. But much more important is I force him to put his knight on the edge of the board, whereas mine is a bit annoying in his position. There's no threat as far as I know. No further threat I can do. He can't also really chase me away. Okay, so I'll keep it simple. Just develop. Yeah, and then castle. And yeah, I want to get hold of the open file before he does. Hey, thank you, Letwin, for the like. Yeah, again, I'm going to keep it simple. I want to play this, but there's some problems here. I want to play bishop g4, he takes, and then plays knight to b5. Is that something I should be worried about? Nope. I'll play here. It's an okay move. Okay. Ooh. I could have maybe taken the bishop, but taking the bishop. That was stupid. But he can always take the bishop on g4. What I mean was I could have taken this bishop, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. The last thing I want is to let him control the open file, so I'll keep an eye on that. So here, if he takes on c6, I get a damaged structure, but on the plus side, I have the bishop pair, two bishops against, and so he opts for this, which damages my king side structure. I'm not so worried much about that. I am quite happy that I've got a queen side pawn majority. Okay, so here it's obviously threatening this pawn on c6, so on c7, so I just protect. So I have to hex slowly at this position. It's rapid, so okay, again, it's quite intent on trying to get one of the pawns, but it's a bit of it's a funny move. This probably doesn't work so well. Let's say I go knight b4, for instance. Bishop b7, rook takes. How important is the knight or rather how important is damaging my structure to him? Let's say I go e6. Is he going to take on c6? Or is it going to take on, he's going to remove the knight first. So he's got two options. What's more important? I'm hoping that having the bishop in this kind of ending could be handy for me, because we've got pawns on both sides. Although my structure is a bit damaged, I could use this to my advantage. I possibly could do this. It's not the happiest position. I think I've really played poorly, set a number of moves. He takes, but this is probably not so great. This just helps me. Yeah, instead of defending this weak pawn, I'd rather keep my rook active and then just play here. The pawns on the queen side are kind of secure. He attacks, but I'll just play here. And now he has to keep an eye on both pawns. He has to play rook b. And if he plays rook b, the rook is passive. Then I'll play f5, f4, that kind of plan. It's going to be quite tricky for him to activate his pieces. And in rook endings, this tends to be much more. Oh, if I go f5 immediately, he's got knight e7 check, picking up something later. So let's go first king here. So now he has to figure out, the rook has to stay. He can't push b because of a, or he has to start pushing a, which could be interesting. Yeah, maybe if he goes like that, when he goes a5, I can always okay. So let's chase the knight. Yeah, the advantages of an active piece, an active rook. So you might be a pawn up now, but I'll take this one with check, I'll take that one, and for sure you might have problems that this knight might end up being trapped at the edge of the board. Hey Chipla, thank you. Thank you for liking the stream. I wonder how everyone is doing in the meantime. No one has scored yet, so everyone is still in their game. a5. Wow, this is a terrible decision. So I take with check first. So I don't think he took this one into account. Then I take here. And I take here. So now we still have the same dynamics, but the problem for him is first of all, he has more weaknesses. I've got more pawns now over this last trade. I've got 5 pawns, although admittedly my other pawn is doubled. So the one trick is I can play a4, a3, but I don't have to hurry with that. Because if I play a4, he gets king c3. Okay, so I won't be able to do that. On an immediate basis, I can improve the king. Okay, so now he is protecting this pawn, so there's nothing to gain from that. So I'll put pressure on this pawn. And the whole idea is to keep the rook passive. I'll show you. It's part of this technique. So I'll keep this rook passive, and being the one with the advantage, I can always advance the pawns, but he has to keep his pawns exactly where they are. And although this looks like a good idea, this is why I was saying you must keep the pawns exactly where they should be, or where they were supposed to be. Because now I have this move which I didn't have before. Now I play g5, I just straight out win that pawn. Or yeah, whatever it does, I'm just simply going to play g4 anyway. It's part of the technique of winning these kind of positions. Yeah, it's quite fascinating. If you look at this game, he played poorly in the opening, then played very well in the middle game, but then once the end game hit, his rating dropped way below his opening advantage. So yeah, of course, I want to get in a passed pawn. I don't want to activate his rook, so I want to keep it like this. He could win that pawn, but he can never win the game, you see. So this is stupid, it's already lost. Because of this pawn, because of these pawns. So the ending is, it's not so complicated, but you have to know how to do it. Okay, so again, I'll let him work for that one. And then I'll go for this one. He should resign. And then we play game 2. Yeah, just take. Push. I'm just going to promote. Hey Greywood, how are you? You guys had your game yesterday, right? Pawn push. It's going all right. I tried to get hold of Ari. He's at the pub. He couldn't make it. Okay, so here I've been taking and getting sort of mixed results. So I want to try to go for like one of the main lines, d4. Oh yes, of course. Yeah. Okay, so I think the main line goes something like bishop d3. It's been a long time since I looked at this. I think when I was young, we looked at a couple of games where, you know, these lines were played. So I think I play knight takes here. And at some point when I was at school, I played the Petrov because I was afraid of everything. And the Petrov is a very safe tournament. Oh, they were hosting an event in the pub. Oh, I see. Okay. I thought it was cancelled or something. Okay, so here he plays knight c6. I'm not so sure if this is the main idea, and it's probably wrong actually, because okay, there's no compensation here for this structure with pawn takes c6. Okay, and I want to play, I don't want to allow him to have bishop on d6 for free, so I want to play it like this. He goes here, I see what he's doing, and I might be wrong, but I don't think it's the end of the world. So for instance, I mean, the bishop is attacked, the d pawn is attacked, but it's not, I don't have to do anything drastic. Now I've got some info on my player based on the previous game. Like I saw him play the endgame quite horribly, so I might be able to take advantage of that weakness. So yeah, he's got a bit of a damaged structure already. So what I'm going to try and tempt him, to exchange as many pieces as he can. So let's start with this one. Knight here. Okay, so here this is probably clearly a mistake. If I take on h6, of course he comes and checkmates me. But okay, there's other mistakes here that he has made. I could play knight takes on e4. He can't ignore this because I'm attacking the queen. So pawn takes, bishop takes, and then he takes on e3, fe3, queen check, g3, and he picks up the bishop. So that would be wrong. But if I start with bishop takes on e4, pawn takes, knight, if bishop takes on e4, then bishop takes on e3, pawn takes on e3, because that comes with threat of mate, and then pawn takes on e4, knight takes on e4, queen check, then I've got a new move, knight g3, which blocks the queen, and I'm just a pawn up. Am I missing anything? Not really. So I go start with bishop takes first. So yeah, I think he might have blundered a pawn. He takes on e3, like I said, threatening mate, so I have to take here. There's a move I did not take into account, but it's not the end of the world. So okay, knight takes. Okay, he played fast. Maybe he should have tried queen to e7. Was actually much more threatening. So here knight g3, then I win a pawn. And we've exchanged a couple of pieces, so this kind of plays into my to-do list. Here goes bishop g4. Weaker players, what they do is they enjoy attacking or causing an effect, making you react. In this position, he feels he's making progress because he's making me respond, but I'm ending up doing what I want to do anyway. So I castle. So structurally, the endgame is probably already lost. It's just a question of now converting. So if I can push e4, e5, that would be a big win in the like on an immediate basis, sort of my to-do list. So now, yeah, I go e4. Maybe I actually want to maintain this pawn on e4. The queen spreads love across the third rank. I want to bring this rook maybe behind this pawn. These pawns, eventually I will win them. But on a short-term basis, if I can maybe centralize my rooks, play e5, knight e4, with the idea of playing f6. So this I'm very happy with. Oh yeah, I'm happy with this part. Pawn takes. any exchanges are welcome because I have a better end game. The bishop is kind of, it tends to be very useless in this kind of structure. Okay, so I can bring this one here. I know what it's doing. Ooh, something I did not take into account. Yo, I didn't take this into account. Just a silly mistake. Ah, that's stupid. He could have played f4. The queen was pinning my knight. How could he miss that? Okay. Let me say check. I can't do that. Okay, let me play like this. No, that doesn't do well. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me make my pieces more active. I can't go wrong by doing that. Okay, so I was hoping you would play this pawn push because there's some stuff here. Go knight h5. I calculated that knight h5 would force him to take with the bishop, but does it force him? Does it really force him to capture? I'm not so sure about that. Okay, knight h5. Queen. I want to play knight h5, but I'm not so sure if it's correct. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I think I know why it doesn't work. Queen h6. How is everyone doing? My opponent. Oh, we are leading 4-0. Who won? Okay. Yeah, this guy, his biggest problem is he doesn't really stop and calculate. He makes the first move which comes to his mind. Yeah. So here he defends. So this is a technical position. It's already winning. I just have to be precise. So first of all, you stabilize the position. And I'm going to look for ways to exchange. Again, is in a rook ending, which is proved to not really have a hold of in terms of understanding. So His rook is still passive in this ending. So we need to... Okay, so here he presents me with an opportunity to set a trap. And the trap is to play rook g5 at the right moment. You know, trapping the queen. Any exchanges here he will not be in his favor. But he wants to play f3. He's so eager to play f3. But h4 is just a one trick pony. Let's see. Can I do this with a piece? If I can execute that kind of threat with a piece, that's the optimum. Okay, so let's do something very... But is it the one? Ari was holding a tournament in the pub. Ari's policies, he wants to bring Jägermeister back to chess. That's his goal. Oh, looks like Mini Macro Chess won both his games. James won his first game. Michael won both his games. It's already done, Michael. Okay, so here our opponent falls for this trick, and yeah, it's game over now. Yeah, it's probably, yeah. We are on 7, so the only person who's left to win this game is Michael. Let's see how he does. What's happening with Michael? She's quite early. What's happening in this game? Okay, this is quite early in this new game. So our player, Snowcat, is playing white, and it's some sort of England gambit that was played. Snowcat is not a big advantage type player. He plays for small things. So he's not going for huge opportunities. Early on is it's quite early to say exactly. I do like black's position though. I feel that, okay, now bishop e4 is a bit of a ridiculous move, but yeah, if he could. And then he takes with, at least if he had taken with a pawn, it would have been a better position. He is just going to end up with an isolated pawn on d. So pawn takes d looks is a no-brainer for white. Then knight d4, bishop e3. I actually like white's position a lot now. Yep, this is standard operating procedure for this kind of position. I mean, some people might see the tricks. I don't think that's how Snow is even thinking about it. He's thinking that, okay, you've got an isolated pawn. The first rule of isolated pawns is you blockade them, then you pile up behind them, and then you unveil your attack on them. So White is well set up to execute that strategy. It so happens that because he's got a better strategic position, okay. I wonder. Rook takes, queen check. Yeah, you end up losing the rook on a8 in this line. It's a funny scenario where the guy who starts the trick is the one who pays for it, because so he has seen that here after rook takes, he thinks he can play rook takes, king takes, and come with queen f6 check. But there's a problem in this position. Here, check. Now you have to just find where to go. But okay, bishop f6 kind of works. Yeah, bishop f3, sorry, works, because now if you play bishop check, yeah, bishop here, if you play yeah, bishop takes, and then he plays e3, okay, whatever he plays. Here you play e3. This is the beauty of this particular scenario, right? You're going to end up losing the rook on a8. That's really that's where the clincher is. He's the one who started these complications. The lesson is that you cannot why? Okay, yeah. You cannot start tactics from a point of inferiority. You can have the worst position, and then you are the one who starts complications. So here the question is, where does his bishop go? Does he go for glory with bishop b2? Or does he retreat? Whichever way he does, he's going to lose. Queen takes d5 check is very strong, followed by queen b7, followed by queen a8. If he played bishop b2, I would play rook b1 and keep every threat alive. So this is game over. Okay, he realizes the problem in this position, so he plays this move, knight c6. So now pawn takes, yeah, knight takes d4. Now you can play king g2, just out of the way, with the threat of taking on d5 with check. Oh, I saw your picture of Ari playing at hosting a chess tournament at the pub. Nothing less from Ari. So what does he do here? He's taking too much time to make this decision. It shouldn't be that complicated. I see, yeah. A tactical solution. Tactical solution. So his idea is that if queen takes, then he takes d4. That's the obvious part. If queen comes here to e5, then he has bishop f4, stably developing this bishop with the tempo. Interesting solution. Black is obviously lost, but how you go about it? It's a matter of taste. So here, black doesn't have time to bring in, let's say, the rook. You would have loved to have the rook involved in this recovery mission for the bishop. But now, this is terrible. You can now play bishop e3. And this should just... oh, no, you can't. But this is what was wrong with the whole idea of playing for these tricks. Could be interesting. You have to play bishop e3. Then he's going to take on b2 with check, and your only move is king f1. Yeah, it doesn't have to be this sharp. Especially if you're winning. You want to keep it simple. Make your opponent lose as much hope as possible. But if you play it like the way James is playing it, you have to do a lot of calculation. He's the one who's got a bit of time pressure, so the chances of making a mistake are high. Takes on d5 check. Oh, I thought maybe knight e6 was interesting check. Oh, but then you've got bishop e3. Okay. It's not bad. So he takes on d5 with check. At least, okay, so what does he do? You still have to play bishop e3, I guess. He had room to then capture this d5 with his queen and check with the tempo later on. I do think that he misses a chance. Plays king g2. Okay, his opponent is going to take on b2 with check. I think white's position still holds. but he's gotten rid of the direct threats that he had in the position before. But I'm sure James has got his reasons. He's got his reasons for. It's just a minute above white. And with not a position, but hey Shafiq, thank you for following and welcome to ACL Chess. Andrew, you're one of our top supporters. Thank you so much. So yeah, check King H1. All his squares are covered, so he's okay. He's just lost unnecessary pawns, but he's got the better position for sure. The bishops are making life difficult for black. And the challenge in this position is that to activate your pieces is very slow in a very open, sharp position where black could get one shot. Looks very active. If he can play something like rook f2, this could be very difficult for white. But yeah, that's why I wanted to get this knight out as quickly as possible. So something like bishop e3 is still practical here. Very important actually. Rook f2, rook b1. It's gonna try and use the attack on the queen as a way of getting this rook active. So the queen has to keep an eye on the knight for sure. So let's say queen c3, rook here. Then the rook has improved, is now on an open file. And this rook cannot leave the back rank because of mate. So the position would have improved somewhat. The pawn cannot be touched because the bishop is keeping an eye. But yes, the knight is a problem for black also. But yeah, he doesn't have time to even improve the position. So queen f2 is one other way of keeping an eye on the knight. It doesn't look safe though. Let's see how he handles this. Yeah, so he goes for this option of queen c3. So now this can be met with rook c1 again, improving the position. In a sharp position like this, playing tactics to improve the position is one of what's he doing? Okay, I don't think he wants to draw. He's much better. And besides, his opponent is quite low rated, so he will lose points for drawing this game. I think bishop g2. I don't understand why you would need to do this when his rook is on a semi-open file, when he could have done it on an open file. Now, bishop f4, Black wants to get rid of the back rank weakness, so he plays this, but also it creates new weaknesses around his king on the light squares, which I'm quite certain will backfire. Right now, an immediate threat that he's kind of forced his opponent to do on him is bishop to e5. So he's got lots of problems to solve here. Okay, he goes backwards. A small triumph for white. He's threatening the bishop here. There's various ways of dealing with this. I think queen d2 is something I really like. Just getting all the danger out of the position. Yeah, that will be the most practical move. Let's see if we can guess what James is cooking. Ah, you boys here challenging me. Yeah, you played queen d2. Okay, yeah, of course he doesn't want this exchange. And here now we can play bishop e3. Just making sure. So let's see how he deals with the queen side. Now we need to improve the rook. Yeah, rook f1 makes sense. Exchanging one pair of pieces. So now the danger is slowly getting out of this position. Now the problem, yes, to okay, knight takes. I almost want to play bishop to f3, but doesn't really make a difference. But it makes sense if I can play bishop f3, king g2. Here he's playing for this trick on h6. I just don't like it because I feel that the king is exposed a little bit. Okay, I like this check if I can. But okay, no. Bishop h6 was the threat we spoke of. Now here you can actually play this pin. We also kind of need to take into account the king position. Okay, he wants check here. I think we can play h3, yeah? You have to play something like h3. Okay, this works too. Does black take the pawn? If he does, he's going to lose immediately. You want to block with the bishop. Very cool. What's his plan here? Can only see knight e4, then bishop e3. I just don't see how you can add to that. You can add more pressure. Queen h4 check. No, you can't really. Just for time. Thought you could do it for time. King g2. Bishop check. I like this move. This is probably winning. Yep, that's what he finds. How does he defend? G6 is bad because of queen f7 check or queen check here. Queen f7 check is probably more lethal. Check. Yep. Here I can take because my bishop is covering everything. Yeah. Oh, he resigns. Okay, good. So we win. Okay. That was an exciting game. Okay, good. So we win against the Oxford Brookes University, and we win 8-0, which is quite nice. And I think we've got a 2-point default also, because I think one of their guys didn't pitch. So yeah. Okay, good. Thank you everyone for playing. Well done to all the players. I think everyone won. So thank you for people supporting the stream and watching. We really appreciate. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Greywood.